Aaron, did you get a new piece of equipment or something happening on your homestead?
The neighbor.
The neighbor.
The neighbor.
The neighbor's happening? What's the neighbor doing?
He's going to help us take out some trees and level off an area here for a shop.
So now we have to walk through it and decide.
Welcome to Modern Homestead Alaska. We are Aaron and Jessica Milnes. We are building a modern homestead outside of Wasilla, Alaska, with the help of 3 of our children. Our second son, Caleb, our daughter, Cody Ann, and the youngest of our family, Wyatt, along with our 3 dogs, Tipper and Daisy, and the newest addition, Roberto. Trying to lay out a shop, a greenhouse, and a road that goes between them. In this amount of snow, Alaska style, really does require equipment just to get out here.
Let's not try to do that. It's so much bigger than it is in my head, the amount of land. If that makes sense. So
the greenhouse should be like right here, right? There's where that's the garden all the way up to behind the thing.
Right. I was having my morning coffee. I'm all showered up. I'm a little bit of a mess, but we're gonna be outside moving stuff and dealing with this all day. So I'm gonna throw on my boots. The contractors are here. Aaron is outside making game plans with them of what is gonna be taken out, what is not, all that fun stuff. Join us today as we clear a bunch of land. Right, so I'll just kind of stand up here and do kind of a before. So what is happening is when we come in, obviously, this whole front corner is way too tight. We have nowhere to go with the vehicles, and we're gonna build a shop right out here. And so they are cutting the trees and moving the dirt and knocking stuff over, so let's just watch for a little bit. Is something else, isn't it, to watch that machine work, the way that it can like literally just plucks a whole tree out of the ground, and just wait until you see what it is able to do here in just a couple of minutes. It is a very nerve-wracking process for Aaron and I, so you're gonna see us pacing around because we want to be certain on the decisions that we make and what land we disturb. Aaron and I are really struggling. This is
so hard for us. Like, you laugh through it, but we love the house being blocked by all the trees. But more than anything, we need someplace to push the snow. He needs a shop, and we need the trees. It's very, very difficult to watch.
It's worth noting that this area that they're working on right here at this front corner, we have disliked that area since the beginning, but I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of it from the upstairs, and all of what we're doing is going to make a little more sense.
If you can see me, I'm in my our upstairs family room. This is where the Cody's pet is now. Someone had asked about that, but this gives you a really good view of what we're doing. And so we'll just join from here. That is Caleb's old Ford. They're digging that out right now. This trailer we're gonna sell. We don't need it anymore. It moved all of our belongings here from Arizona. And now you can get like kind of a good overview of what is actually happening. So this big, I don't know where it's at on the camera, but this evergreen here is staying. And if you can imagine, it is the anchor point where the shop is just behind it, but we're gonna try and save that tree. As well as when you come over here, several of these evergreens will be saved. And then way over there that you can't see from here is where the greenhouse and other things are gonna go, because the garden's on that side. We don't have like a drone or something, so it's kind of hard to show you everything, but let's pop in and see what they get done.
So here we've just kind of jumped ahead. What they are doing is they dug a 20-foot or deeper hole, and we'll reference it later, but that's what they're doing. And all of this is kind of a sandy gravel that compacts fairly well, and we were very fortunate to find it underneath, because you never know with where we're at. It could be this sandy gravel soil, or it could have been, you know, hard rock or mud or something else. Anyway, not the point. Because of the material that they were able to dig out, we do not have to pay to have that material brought in. So that is what is actually going to get compacted in and around the whole flat area that is actually going to have the shop built on it. So we are fortunate there. What's funny is we got this trailer moved out of the way that day, and then Caleb and I listed it, and we've talked about selling this trailer since we brought our stuff here, and it literally sold in like an hour. So it's no longer even on the property, but worth mentioning that that is out of our way as we're building as well.
Day 2, and we're hoping to be finished with the dirt work today for what potentially is going to be our shop. What they ended with yesterday is where he's working right now on that basically like dirt pile. What they dug out was a 20 plus maybe foot hole to bury the stumps in, and then dig this gravel out of the hole, and then the gravel will go on the top. That'll get compacted down and so on. So right now they're just still pushing dirt in the hole. All of the logs we are going to use, cut and split, put those in the woodshed. Our house, for those of you that don't know, is heated off of wood. So we're obviously not going to waste any of that. And any of the giant rocks that we keep finding and pulling out, they will help with a retaining wall near the garden area. So we're going to use everything. And then the ironic part is everything that's been pulled off or out of the property doesn't actually leave the property. It all stays here. So there's not waste, there's nothing going into a landfill, and then it's organic material. But if you can see, those of you who know anything about earth and gardening and soils and so on, this is gravel from under the earth. There's no nutrients in it. It is not some topsoil that we're gonna be able to use to garden or any of those things. So keep that in mind. If we were clearing this area for the garden or whatever, you would still need to bring in something, but this will work. And then we're going to cover it over with road base, which is similar to what was put on our driveway last year. And then that way we will be able to drive on that. Because that stuff that just naturally comes out of the earth here is like sand. It is dusty, like concrete dust, but it doesn't set up like concrete when it's wet. It's really, really like clay type soil. But when it's dry, it just is so dusty you can't do anything with it. So to even work with it, it needs to be damp. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Let's see what we can get accomplished today.
It's funny, they move dirt in order to move dirt, to move dirt in order to move the dirt, that sort of thing. But it does end up taking 3 days when we had planned on 2, and that's totally fine. It was a solid bid, so it wasn't like a hourly rate that we were paying. And what happens though here in Alaska is it starts to melt almost immediately. And so you only break open what you can deal with that day, and then you don't want to touch that land again until it has dried out. So let's get down and see where we end up.
Well, after 3 days, I thought I would close out today's video and show you kind of where we're at with all of it. I tried to record from up there, but you can't actually, there's not like a window that overlooks the garden and where the greenhouse and stuff are going to go. So bright and sunshiny. But let's just get to the end and show you kind of where we're at. What is happening right here in this space behind me will be the 40 by 40 shop. Aaron and I had designed originally a 40 by 60 foot shop. And as we got out here and kept measuring as we were knocking out trees, having to do all of that, the shop got shrunk down. Not by me, so don't pipe up and tell me Jessica let him have his shop. He is the one that shrunk it down to the 40 by 40. We just needed to continue for lots of reasons. In part, we have a YouTube channel. You can't see our house from the road. We want to continue to maintain that sort of privacy for ourselves and our family. And we just want it to be woods wherever possible. So the dirt pile you're seeing here is mixed with snow. The snow was huge 2 days ago. So we need to give it maybe 2 weeks-ish to let kind of this settle, what we're walking on, and then let all of the dirt kind of settle. That sinkhole that we created that is full of stumps and those sort of things is just behind the shop. So the shop itself, the building, will not be built over a sinkhole. And then what's going to happen here, the roadway behind the shop, if you can imagine, this is so hard. If you can imagine coming in the driveway, so you're the car, you're coming up, here we go. Okay, coming in the driveway, and you come in, you'll be able to drive behind the shop here off into the garden area. It will not be a wide enough pathway. We won't be hauling trucks and trailers and those sort of things back there, but we will be able to drive the tractor, the Argo. We may get to the point we have a side-by-side or something like that to help us on the homestead here. But those sort of things will be able to kind of hit that path. Where I'm at is all shop. The dirt will stay hilled up for a little bit, and then in the next couple of weeks they're gonna come in and that'll be sloped off into the woods. We will let the natural vegetation have all of that back, but we will leave it built up because there's a sinkhole there, and eventually that will sink down. This area you see behind me here used to be where Caleb's old Ford truck was parked. The trailer was here once upon a time. When we originally found the property, it had been really compacted down. They had like a shipping container right here, and this ground is so frozen because of how it was exposed and so on. It didn't have the nice insulation of the snow on top of it. And so in the next couple of weeks when they come back, this will be beautifully sloped into the rest of it. And if you can imagine, you'll be able to come along the front of the shop here and then have a drive lane. And then this is what I really wanted to show you. I can see it from upstairs, but you cannot. And this right here is how much mud Roberta's dragging all of it in. Just a simple step, but right now it is early enough in the morning that it's pretty much frozen, but we are going to be dealing with mud until we are able to they have some restrictions on the roads right now, so getting the gravel in here is not something we can do yet. But let's get back here. All right, here is what I could see and I loved, is we kept this, so this little drive lane winds behind here. We kept as many trees as we could in this area here. And then where there's some gaps here, we are going to be adding in some apple, cherry, some other trees, and do our orchard type stuff in this area right behind me. And then it kind of weaves privately back into the woods here a little bit. It feels kind of like that cottage garden, that private space. I'm so in love with how it is coming together, and I've caught the vision. You might not have caught it just looking at what I'm looking at, but it's here. It's going to be gorgeous. We're building this retaining wall out of all of this natural rock that we found in digging things. The ground here, where this is going to be the greenhouse area, and then the greenhouse area flows that way towards the chicken coop, and all this kind of gets leveled off and becomes garden beds, elevated garden beds. There'll be some fencing, and then the next animal we're getting goes actually right back over there. But all of this is going to be cleaned up. We'll burn or do wood chipping for pathways out of all of this. All the other logs are going to become firewood, and we may have to bury some more of the stumps. But the ground where we're at right here is no-go for a garden. Look at how rocks this ground is. But the good part about that is this is going to be the greenhouse area, and putting that on a really firm foundation, because our greenhouse is also going to have elevated beds and pots, and all the tomatoes and stuff are going to be grown in 5-gallon buckets or grow bags or what have you. It's not actually planted into this ground here, so we won't have like some sinking issues and the mud and so on. But that is where we're at right now with the garden space. I can hear the chickens. They're going nuts. I'm about to go let them outside. And I just really think, all in all, Aaron and I keep looking at it and we feel like we've really saved kind of the integrity of the property, that it's still beautiful. We're getting the use that we need, keeping all of the trees that we can, and in the natural look, that natural vegetation state that it was already created in, and then just kind of making our way to building the homestead within what was already here and how it looks, you know, naturally. So I really think it is going to be incredible. I'm so excited. Our plants are doing great. I am so ready to build this greenhouse, the shop, the garden. We have huge projects ahead of us, and it might not get all done this year, but eventually it will all get done. So lots and lots of hopes and dreams. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll get notifications. Thumbs up and comments help our channel to grow. We are so blessed to have each and every one of you, and I cannot thank you enough for hanging out through the video, seeing what we're doing on our homestead, and we invite you to tag along for a lot longer. We'll see you in the next video.